welcome to 80's month here on the YouTube Refugees. Now, Clinton's video the other day reminded me of a very 80's movie experience. I am talking about PTA movies. Now, Paul Thomas Anderson has done some great... Wait, what? Oh. Of course, when I say PTA, I am talking about the Parents Teachers Association. As I've spent time on the internet over the last few years, every once in a while I'll ask people if they experienced this PTA movie thing as a kid, and I really haven't found anyone that knows what I'm talking about. So let me explain. Every summer and winter, the local Parents Teachers Association would pick a schedule of 12 movies that would alternate between two theaters over 6 weeks. Now, as a young movie nerd, this was very exciting to me. I remember times knowing that the new schedule was in the building, but the teachers would always say that we couldn't see it till after school. I do recall one time one of my classmates managed to swing by the office and somehow sneak one away from the table where they were being prepped for delivery to the classroom. So that was pretty funny. Now, you could either pre-purchase like a sheet of tickets for a slight discount, but if you didn't do that, it was only like $1 or $1.50 to get into each show. And even for the 80s, this was a very retro movie experience, because before the film we would often get a short or two, or perhaps a cartoon of some sort. Sometimes it would be the Three Stooges.
All right, come across with that paper.
Oh, the paper?
Yes, the paper.
Why didn't you say so? There it is.
I remember seeing Commando Cody and the Rocket Man. Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. Oh, what the? Hey, that's not Pee-wee's Playhouse. Speed of lightning, roar of thunder. Sky Marshal of the Universe. Very obviously what influenced the Rocketeer. Cartoons we would get, old Looney Tunes, Pink Panther sometimes, Popeye the Sailor Man. The PTA usually stuck to G or PG rated fare. Towards the end, I think they kind of snuck in a couple of PG-13s. But we did get a lot of cool stuff. Labyrinth, the He-Man and She-Ra movie, Three Amigos. You know, which was really good when it got to the line about, "Oh, fill ya so full of lead, you can use your dick for a pencil." Splash, Big, some of the Bugs Bunny movies that were done in the late 70s and early 80s, which were basically just old Looney Tunes cartoons kind of spliced together and somewhat of a story. Short Circuit, Ernest Goes to Camp, Annie, my first crush. Back to the Future, Goonies, and then sometimes there was some pretty obscure stuff like the Peanut Butter Solution, Super Fuzz, Cloak and Dagger, Daryl. Anybody else remember Daryl? Anyone? No? Okay. Sometimes it would be something kind of cool, like, for instance, a PTA movie was the first time I ever got to experience the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Occasionally, a movie wouldn't show up in time, so they'd throw in a substitute. It seemed like it was usually a John Wayne movie, so I suspect somebody here in town owned a small John Wayne collection on 35mm film. That wasn't too exciting to a 9 or 10-year-old, especially one who was convinced he didn't like Western. As a kid, I guess I was actually kind of spoiled, because I pretty much saw a movie every weekend all the way up through high school. Not always. Some weekends I didn't make it out. Some weekends I would see 2 movies. Thanks to the PTA movie, I'd go see a new release on Saturday and then go to the PTA movie on Sunday, or vice versa. A lot of times the PTA movies were my second or third viewing of a film because I already saw it when it first came out. And I know I was pretty lucky. At least I considered myself lucky, because I know a lot of my peers at school didn't get to see as many films in the theater as I did. I remember hitting the playground on Monday mornings before school, and a lot of people would ask me what I saw over the weekend, so it was pretty much a given that I probably saw something new. And I guess by the early 90s, the advent of the VCR had pretty much killed the PTA movies. Parents could rent a stack of movies, keep the kids at home, and not have to worry about dropping them off at or picking them up from the movie theater. I think the original intent of the PTA movies was so that a family could go out for a nice outing on the weekend together for not a lot of cash. But unfortunately, it just kind of turned into a cheap babysitting service. So how about you guys? Anybody else out there have the PTA movie experience? I find it kind of hard to believe that this phenomenon was unique to my area. So if you do have any PTA movie memories from your childhood, let me know in the comments below, or better yet, make a response video. Down below I've got links to a couple of videos from my personal channel, one where I discuss PTA movies a little bit more and go more in depth about a couple other 80s movies, The Garbage Pail Kids, and The Peanut Butter Solution. And another one that covers Saturday mornings from the late 70s to the early 90s. So go check those out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my personal channel, Planet Beer Wagon. I do remember one pretty funny PTA movie experience. It was when my sister and I went to see Star Trek 4. And now before the movie, we went to a nearby Woolworths, where I often bought Garbage Pail Kids for 25 cents a pack. And we managed to load up on some clearance candy. They had bags of the mini Lifesaver rolls for 10 cents. So by the time the movie started, we were on a pretty big sugar high. And we were sitting there watching the film, kind of goofing around. I think what happened is my sister threw some popcorn at me, so I reached over to smack her, kind of jokingly, but I hit her way harder than I intended, and then she just started laughing like a maniac.